Girls Frontline has probably the weirdest crossovers in gaming. Sure, Fortnite has Thanos and literally everything in pop culture, and various other games have their weird things showing up every once in a while, but all these collaborations at least make some sense. Either the collaborator or the collabee's audience it has a Venn diagram that is close to a circle, or the collabee is something so popular that itself is a huge drive. But then you have Girls Frontline, and they're just baffling crossover collaborations. Yes, all of these are real. There's just so many strange collaborations with Girls Frontline, but there's no place that gathers all that information into one place. So that's my plan here today. If I miss anything, tell me. Probably I should have gotten like Infinite Eel's help on this video, but I was too lazy to contact him. Sorry, bro. So let's first go over the large crossover collaboration events. You know, the big name ones that bring a bunch of new characters and have their own story. The first ever crossover event in Girls Frontline was Operation Rabbit Hunt, the infamous crossover between Girls Frontline and Arc System Works. More specifically with the BlazBlue and Guilty Gear series of fighting games, as Noelle Vermillion and Elphelt Valentine were added to the game. The main story revolves around Squad Event as they team up with the time-traveling and dimension-traveling Noelle BlazBlue to defeat Elphelt Guilty Gear, who has been captured and brainwashed by Sanguis to hunt down Noelle. For some reason, it's actually like not that clear. Like yeah, it's early Girls Frontline, it's not that great, let's just move on. The Honkai II crossover Hattori Boji is a really strange case to me. Not only is it a collaboration with a direct competition, it also was a Chinese server exclusive. Also for clarification, Honkai is that thing that Hoyoverse makes that's not Genshin, you know, like that Honkai Star Rail game. This is like 2 games in the past in that series. But yeah, it's 2 gacha games in the same niche crossing over. Kinda strange. The main plot of this event has a duo of T-Dolls consisting of PP90 and Vector teaming up with various Honkai characters to kill some slain, which are like zombies from Honkai. And because we have to link this up with the Girls Frontline's antagonist, Sanguis also has control of the slain somehow. This is also when it's established that the FN squad is the multiverse squad that deals with isekai-like events, which is really dumb and stupid in my opinion. If I'm gonna be honest, Hattori Boji mostly acts as a character piece for Vector, while being filled with Honkai references and filler. It's kinda strange a collab like this exists, and even stranger that it was a Chinese server exclusive. Glory Day marks the start of the Girls Frontline crossover events that I actually like. It's a crossover between the DJ Maxx series of rhythm games and Girls Frontline. The title of the event obviously being a reference to the DJ Maxx Respect theme, of which it shares the same name. In this event, we see Team ATK, which consists of K2, AEK, TMP, and most importantly, Calico and Thunder, explore and save Pocket City from Elphelt and Sanguis forces once again, because we have to shoehorn them in. Also, El Clear is there too for like 1 second, but we can all agree that Fail is better than Clear. I'm gonna put this out there since most people don't know about DJ Maxx lore. El Clear and El Fail are resurrected versions of the old DJ Maxx mascot character El, who died when the DJ Maxx series died for a while in the mid-2010s. And Pocket City is basically like a super DJ Maxx collection game that gets released into arcades in the future, also known as DJ Maxx Respect. Crazy how that turned out. This event is kinda similar to the last one, being a thinly veiled excuse to build the characters with a few T-Dolls with a ton of references to another game. This time the characters being Calico and Thunder, and oh boy, there's a ton of DJ Maxx references in this event. Next is Valhalla, which is a collaboration between Girls Frontline and VA11 Hall A, or just Valhalla. You know, funny bartending game with good music. The event features a large variety of T-Dolls and basically everybody who matters in Valhalla. This event's kinda weird because it feels more of a Valhalla story just being added to Girls Frontline. It's mostly just another story about Jill and everybody else, but in a slightly altered different world. And also there's evil Sanguis forces again for no reason, because we just need to have Sanguis forces. In fact, it's so much just a Valhalla thing that the drinking mixing minigame that makes up Valhalla's main story gimmick was added to Girls Frontline for this event, to the despair of many Girls Frontline players that can't read. In my opinion, it's a collaboration that actually makes a bit of sense, and it feels the most natural of collaborations of the weird crossover events. And this crossover event basically runs every single year, which is a great thing because Jill's OP. Dream Theater is when things start to get really weird. So this is a collaboration between Girls Frontline and the 2002 manga Gunslinger Girl, which ended in 2012, which also had an incomplete anime that aired from 2003 to 2008, and had nothing else in between. I'm saying all this to contextualize how long it's been since Gunslinger Girl has been relevant, since this collab took place in 2020. This franchise has been dead for almost a decade. The Dream Theater event is a celebration of the Gunslinger Girl series with a bit of fanfiction epilogue added in for good measure. The main plot of the event is literally going through the dreams and memories of the characters of Gunslinger Girl, with some Girls Frontline characters injected into them. And the event finishes with a happy ending for the characters that they were denied from in the manga. At least I think they were. I'm an anime only fan and reading's too hard. For the longest time, Girls Frontline has been leading up to this next collaboration, creating homages and references to the works of Tom Clancy through skins and other various little things in the game. More specifically, to the Tom Clancy-inspired Rainbow Six Siege. So was everyone surprised that Arknights got a Rainbow Six Siege crossover for no discernible reason? And Girls Frontline collabed with The Division 1 in 2020, over a year after The Division 2 came out. The main story of Bounty Hunt is that the Tito's are playing a Battle Royale survival tournament in the Division 1 Dark Zone, which is a 24-player PvP and PvE game mode where you're supposed to get loot and extract when you think you have enough. Or you can just kill people, then take their loot. Think of Tarkov or Dark and Darker. This event is probably my favorite Girls Frontline side story ever, making the immersion of playing games extremely dramatic yet funny at the same time. Also, there's many references to server issues, questionable game design, and glitches in the Division 1, which is great considering that Mika Team is kind of clowning on the IP that they're crossovering with. Now it's time to go back to anime collabs with My Devil's Frontline, a collaboration between Girls Frontline and Dropkick on My Devil, also known as that comedy anime with Hatsune Miku, although this was before the second season where they had Hatsune Miku appearing. I think this crossover makes the most sense financially, as it did act as marketing for the upcoming season of Dropkick on My Devil. I mean, that's how I found out about the series, despite the fact that it makes very little sense thematically, genre-wise, and in general. Girls Frontline is a semi-grounded sci-fi story, while Dropkick on My Devil is a gag-based urban fantasy comedy show. The basic synopsis is that various T-dolls in the captured Sangus relayer Ouroboros are summoned by Jashin to the anime where she resides in to create a crossover spin-off series, Jashin-chan's Frontline. Yeah, she gets really fourth-wall breaky. But that's the problem. Now the T-dolls and Ouroboros need to find a way home from the anime that they're trapped in, and they interact with many Dropkick on My Devil characters along the way. At least we now know for a fact the commander canonically watches vintage anime, and that's pretty funny. And then there's the most recent crossover at the time of the making of this video, Girls Frontline x Zombieland Saga. More specifically, the second season of Zombieland Saga. I don't know why it's specifically the second season, especially since it's been almost 2 years since season 2, and season 3 has not been confirmed at all yet. And that's not even mentioning how, like the Dropkick Devil crossover, it also clashes setting-wise and thematically with Girls Frontline. Yeah, zombie-like creatures do exist in Girls Frontline. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the excuse of them existing, but that's kind of really stretching it. Whatever, it's kind of funny that this is a thing, and I can't get a plot synopsis because it hasn't been translated yet. Finally, it's time for the rapid fire of the Girls Frontline crossover stuff that's not as big as the main events. This is most likely not all encompassing, but these are the things I know of, be it rumors or verified sources. There was going to be a Valkyria Chronicles crossover, which would have worked pretty well in my opinion. It was apparently cancelled due to negotiations with Sega falling through. However, some of the assets were completed, so we can see how some of the units would have looked like if this collab actually did happen. The Chinese servers of Call of Duty Mobile had a Girls Frontline crossover. In it, AN94 herself was added into the mess known as Garena Call of Duty as a character skin, along with various weapon skins of Girls Frontline characters. I think Anime Girl placid on a gun skin is kind of tasteless and boring, so yeah, not a big fan of this overall, but it is really funny that it happened. And I also would rock these skins if they were in a Call of Duty game I actually played. DJ Maxx has a Girls Frontline DLC that adds a new Girls Frontline inspired HUD and a few new songs from Girls Frontline. The HUD is not that great when compared to all the other HUDs that exist in the game. The 3 songs that represent Girls Frontline in this DLC are Barbarous Furina, the Sangus boss theme, Frontline, that one song from the soundtrack, and What Am I Fighting For from Singularity. Overall, it's just another song pack, so like, whatever. The T-doll Ha-Yong is a collaboration with Kamei and Anime Festival in Wuhan, China. She is literally their anime girl mascot, Ai, both in design and character. Apparently, Ha-Yong was originally only attainable through game codes, probably at Kamei, but I'm not sure and I can't really find much more information about this. While not an actual crossover, I guess I should note that Type 81 is jokingly referenced as a crossover character with the China Railway Girl project, due to apparently being based off one of the mascot characters. But I have no clue what people are talking about, and I'll just leave it at that. Bakery Girl and Bakery Girl Reverse Collapse, whenever that comes out, takes place in the same world as Girls Frontline, and Urix's Low Emission Infectious Disease, or ELID, or the Not Zombies are from Bakery Girl. But I don't know if like spiritual successors sequel stuff counts as a crossover. Speaking of things that shouldn't be called a crossover, Project Neurocloud has many Girls Frontline characters in it, but like, everybody knows that. Even the main character of the game is still you from Girls Frontline. I guess there's also that number one thing that Girls Frontline deep lore fans would talk about. Technically, W and Dr. Arknights are Girls Frontline characters, as seen by the concept art made by Umineko when he was still working on Girls Frontline. Look, I'm trying to include every little bit of what can be counted. And speaking of stuff that can kind of only technically be counted, the commander technically makes a reference appearance in the Limbus Company April Fool's event. Not as big as a role as Arknights or Blue Archive and Uma Musume, and commander can technically mean any other game since everyone uses commander these days, but Project Neocloud also uses professor, and professor is the commander, so it still works, kind of. So questionably, Ghost Frontline was referenced twice in that scene, therefore my gacha game better than all other gacha games.